We've had stars all over the place. We've had beautiful people from all over the world. But today we are joined in our midweek broadcast with our youngest person yet, Martin, aren't we?
Yes, probably. Probably get much more sense out of Naomi
Than us.
Than us, Phil.
Yes, and probably more views as well.
And very beautiful she is too.
Very asleep for now, so we'll enjoy it while we can. Martin, it was your idea to have my daughter on this broadcast, so thank you for that.
It was.
Sarah just said, I wish I'd remembered. I would have put her in a dress. It's because we've got a number of dedications coming up, including my daughter's, and actually we've had one as well at the start of the month, haven't we?
Yes, so, just a few weeks ago. Yes.
What for people that may not know, what is a dedication, Martin?
Well, I guess one thing to say is that because we don't baptize babies within the Baptist Church, we have this dedication service, which is an opportunity for the parents, family to give thanks for the birth of their children. And for parents to dedicate themselves to bring up their children in a Christian home, and for us to pray God's blessing. And I suppose that story in the gospel when Jesus welcomed children and blessed them, even though others would have turned them away, is a kind of the origins of it, really. And what a beautiful kind of story to echo in the services of today. Interesting, Phil. Naomi's being dedicated whilst she's very young still. How old is Naomi now?
She's 7.5 weeks.
7.5
So yeah, she'll
weeks.
be just over 2 months by the time we get her dedicated.
That's fantastic.
That is quite young. Same age that we got Elijah dedicated, actually.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
similar ages.
But
others are older, aren't they?
But some of the families are coming, are bringing older children as well, which is nice too.
And that's because they've only sort of considered it at this point where their families are together and they feel it's the right thing to do. I've loved seeing children being dedicated and welcomed into the church, and I think it's a valuable reminder to all of us how precious the children are, and actually also what that we are specifically are a church of all ages as well.
Yes, that's right.
From the tiny, like this little lady, to the not so tiny and elderly. And Martin, I've realised this week it's been. I mean, we're talking today about dedications with a baby. Yesterday, you took charge of a funeral for a dear friend who was very old.
Yes.
And then the day before, you were a wedding.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
what a mixture of things to do for a minister.
They call it hatch, match, and dispatch.
Hatch, match, and dispatch. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something that we do as Baptists because we don't do christenings.
Yes.
Because as we spoke about with baptisms, I think a while back in one of our broadcasts, we do as what's called a believer's baptism, which is when people are of an age to make their own mind up to follow Jesus, that rather than when they're a baby and it's their parents' decision. That's right.
That's right. Absolutely right. Yes. Yes. And I think it's also important for the church to realise its own responsibility as a church family to bless and encourage families within our church. I'm always reminded of that awesome word that Jesus said. He said, watch out that you don't cause one of these little ones to stumble. But if you do, it would be better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck and thrown into the depths of the sea. And really quite a serious word to us.
Warning almost, isn't it?
A warning that as a church, as Christians together, we need to be very careful that we're stepping stones and not stumbling blocks for children and young people growing up because that's not always been true, has it? In the church worldwide.
No.
sometimes the church has caused young people to stumble, and we don't want that here at OBC.
Not at all. We want to nurture them from the time they arrive on this earth until the time they leave it, don't we? And it really, every time we do have a dedication here, Martin, and you walk around with the child or children, as it has been, and when we've got multiple dedications, it makes me realise how responsible we all are as a church.
Yeah.
It's not just mum and dad's ultimate sole responsibility to nurture them in their faith and bring them up in the eyes of the Lord.
That's right.
We've all got a responsibility to play with that, haven't we? And I actually have felt that love and responsibility from the whole church. And it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not as if people are telling us how to be a parent. Yeah. Far from it. It's actually more just encouragement and prayer that we've really been blessed with as a family. And I'd like to think anyone that does come into the church and wants to consider this I also feel the love from the church and the prayers that's going up for them, because I do firmly believe that we're a very prayerful church, especially when it comes to such special times like this.
I'm always interested, and in this time there's a whole mixture of people coming, bringing their children for dedication, children of different ages, some that are single parents, certainly multicultural, and it's just such a joy as a church. What a privilege it is for us to welcome these children and families and to pray God's blessing.
I've always admired you, Martin, for the pronunciation of some of our African friends who have some beautiful names, and some that you may have never heard before, and then you've got to sort of practice them in your head for when you say them at the front on a Sunday. And
I've got a few challenges coming up in that way, actually.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, you got it wrong with even this one. You said Naomi Esther and Naomi Ruth a couple of times.
Yeah.
But, Naomi Esme it is, so that should be more straightforward for you. But yeah, it does. You know, it's just a joy, isn't it? You must feel such a privilege, Martin, when you hold a baby and walk them around the church.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Do you really feel that? Because it's
I well
special.
Up every time, and if I could get broody, I would again. It's such a joy.
Marg, run away.
Yes. Interesting thing, Phil, because with a christening in a Church of England or whatever, they will often have godparents, and the Baptist tradition is, as long as we understand that it's not just a couple of people's responsibility. It's the whole church's responsibility as well. Yeah. And particularly, sometimes, with christenings, I have to say, godparents don't know what they're talking about.
Their role is either,
what their role is.
Being honest, yeah.
I hope that it's a lot better in many cases. But you have heard that sometimes they don't even believe in God.
No.
And the role of godparents, whether it's individuals or whether, as in the Baptist tradition, it's the whole church, is particularly to be godparents, to really care that our children grow up in the Lord.
Yeah.
And one day are baptized as believers.
Yeah,
themselves.
absolutely. And I'm not saying any other church is wrong. Far from it, Martin. But why do we believe as Baptists that what we do with dedications is more biblically accurate? What's the reasoning behind us as a Baptist church to do that?
Well, I think it starts with believers' baptism. We believe that baptism in the New Testament was for believers, people
not that can make their own decisions,
people that were old enough to make up their own minds that they would follow Jesus. In the Great Commission, Jesus says, "Go into all the world, make disciples, and baptize them." Yeah. So it's kind of disciples and then baptize them. Whereas, so it's best for Naomi that we don't baptize her, but that we dedicate you as a family, and look forward to the day in years to come when she decides herself to follow Jesus and is baptized.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Ryan, have you ever in
Can
your
I
time
can
here?
can I have a practice?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There she is.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Oh,
Wow,
look.
Naomi. So in a couple of weeks' time, you've got to cry
Yes.
and be sick all over our minister as he parades you around the church.
I have had a lot of practice in holding.
Well, Martin, a
babies,
couple of
including
years
my
ago, you
own.
did twins.
Yeah.
You held one in each arm.
Oh,
I
I
remember
remember,
actually, it was
yes.
Lola's beautiful twins that you paraded around the church,
That's
and
right,
that was a real success. So, but you know, what I love also is, and it will be the case with us, is that we get to see new people at the church as well, because quite often, like with baptisms, dedications, have a family feel to it, and the parents choose to invite people, and so it's lovely to see the church with different people in,
Yes. And it's Bank Holiday Sunday when usually
Yes.
On the 29th of August, so Sunday week, when we would dedicate Naomi, and often people are away. But how many people have you got?
We've got 50 already confirmed, and there are a few people just waiting to see about other bits and pieces, so that number could go up. We're blessed to have a huge network of family and friends, that many of whom are believers as well, and they all want to come along and be part of this blessing. So they're travelling from as far as Bristol and Bedford, and in some cases I think Reading and maybe farther as well. So we not only have, Sarah and I not only have a joyful family within our church, we've got a lovely family outside our church, which we certainly feel blessed to have. So it'll be another full church, Martin, like we had with the baptism service in July. So that's something to look forward to. And I'm pleased now that actually we can sing as well. So it'll be a nice loud service.
Yes. Absolutely.
So so that and I'm very grateful actually. Looking forward to that service. I know that the worship group was looking a bit depleted on that Sunday, because it is Bank Holiday weekend and people are away, and a lot of our regular worship group are busy that weekend. But I'm really grateful to Dan for pooling different resources together to create a worship group for us on that Sunday. So that's really kind of him. And it's just another example of actually what lengths the church go to really make you feel sort of comfortable and happy with what's going on. And, you know, I do not for a second think that it's because I work here that this happens. The love that this church shows to nearly everyone is there and clear to see for everyone. So,
and that's why too, I think, you know, to draw the contrast with christenings, people might just go for that Sunday and for a kind of the naming ceremony, as it were, the christening, and not go to the church apart from that. With dedications, we want the family to be part of the church family, and to be encouraging.
We want to know them,
so
don't we? Yeah.
I'm kind of, sometimes it does happen that parents approach me and say, "Oh, would you dedicate our children?" And we don't know them, and they've no intention of kind of coming to the church. And I kind of say, well, if you'd like to start coming to the church and for us to get to know you, that would be lovely.
It would be lovely
do
first,
that. But otherwise, it might be better for you to have a christening in your local parish church. Because many Anglican churches, I was talking to the vicar at Christ Church Annerley, and here we are. His name's Matthew Fitter, a good friend, an Anglican rector there. And he was saying that they have believers' baptisms and dedications, that they don't encourage christenings anymore.
Right.
So, which is really interesting.
Yeah, indeed,
They kind of wheel a baptistry in, one of these mobile ones.
Yeah.
But hey, I agree with you, Phil. We're not about criticising other churches.
No,
and what they,
I do find
what
interesting
they do.
comparisons, but
It's just a comparison, and parents do what they feel is right for themselves and for their family, and I'm sure God will bless them. if they do it honestly and with a sincere heart. But here at OBC, we do dedications, and we've got lots coming up, which is fantastic.
So many ages, all the young ones.
And we love to bless children, just as Jesus welcomed children to his side and blessed them. So that's what we want to do here.
Yeah. So this video, this broadcast now it's obviously available to all to see, but it's going to go out on Sunday, the Sunday before Naomi's dedication. But just to touch on it, Michael, this Sunday I'm really excited. Whilst I will be in academy, our minister in training is going to be preaching. Michael Anochi.
Michael Anochi, yeah. So I'm there, sort of leading the service with the worship team. But Michael is preaching because it's important for him to get preaching experience. He's training to be a minister. He's actually moving on in a couple of Sundays' time to Green Street Green Baptist Church as part of his experience and training. But before he goes, we wanted him to have the opportunity to preach.
And what psalm is it, this, Martin?
Psalm 46,
Psalm 46,
which people remember because it's "Be still and know that I am God."
Yeah.
Bit hard for you with Naomi at the moment, and
I'd love to be still.
Elijah.
I'd love to be still.
But a great psalm to be looking at, and we're going to be led, of course, by our worship team, which is fantastic, as well as other people involved. Catherine Bacon is doing the family talk. Equa is doing the prayers. Somebody else is involved as well, and so we're really looking forward to this Sunday, 10:30. Come along, and then the following Sunday for the family dedication as well
of this little lady.
Yeah,
be in touch, everyone. We've been so excited recently to be seeing new families come to church, and we'd love to see more. We'd love to hear from everyone and anyone. So just get in touch with us through our website.
Yeah. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.